the end of this video, you'll have a tool so simple yet transformative that it could change everything for you. And here's the best part. I'm going to reveal exactly how you can use it starting right now. But first, let me ask you again, what's really holding you back? The truth is, most people spend their entire lives feeling trapped, not by circumstances, but by themselves. They wake up each morning knowing they want more, yet something invisible keeps them tethered to mediocrity. Maybe it's fear of failure, maybe it's self-doubt, or maybe it's just the comfort of staying where things are familiar. Whatever it is, it's not serving you. Think about it. When was the last time you did something truly bold? When was the last time you stepped outside your comfort zone and took control of your destiny? If you're hesitating to answer, don't worry. You're not alone. In fact, studies show that over 80% of people struggle with taking action on their goals because their brains are wired to avoid risk. That's right. Your own mind might be working against you. But what if I told you there's a way to outsmart your brain and break free once and for all? Let's talk about why this happens. Human beings are creatures of habit. Our brains love predictability because it feels safe. It's why we cling to routines, even when those routines aren't helping us grow. Psychologists call this the comfort zone, and while it sounds cozy, it's actually a trap. Staying in your comfort zone doesn't protect you, it limits you. Every day you stay stuck, you're trading potential happiness, success, and fulfillment for the illusion of safety. And here's the kicker, staying stagnant hurts far more than taking action ever will. The regret of never trying weighs heavier than any failure. So why do we still resist change? Because our brains are programmed to prioritize survival over growth. But guess what? You're not just surviving anymore. You're capable of thriving. And thriving starts with waking up to the reality that you deserve better. Now, imagine for a moment what life would look like if you weren't held back by fear or doubt. Picture yourself stepping boldly into the unknown, making decisions with clarity and confidence, and finally taking charge of your future. How does that feel? Does it excite you? Scare you? Both? Good. That means you're on to something big. Because here's the thing, freedom doesn't come from waiting for the perfect moment. Freedom comes from creating momentum, and momentum starts with one single decision, one act of courage that sets everything else in motion. But before we get into the specific tool that will help you make that leap, let me remind you of something important. Transformation begins with awareness. You're watching this video because deep down, you know you're meant for more. You're ready to stop letting fear dictate your choices and start living intentionally. And that's exactly why I want you to stick around until the very end. At the close of this video, I'll share a reward, a simple yet life-changing strategy that thousands of people have used to break through their barriers and achieve incredible results. All you have to do is keep watching, stay open-minded, and prepare to take action. Are you ready? Let's dive deeper. You've taken the first step by acknowledging that something needs to change. That's huge, because most people never even get this far. They stay trapped in the cycle of someday, telling themselves they'll start when the timing is perfect or when they feel more confident. But here's a hard truth. Waiting for confidence is like waiting for calm seas before learning to sail. It's not going to happen. Confidence doesn't come first, action does. And once you understand this, you begin to see why so many people remain stuck despite wanting better lives. It's not lack of talent, resources, or opportunity holding them back. It's hesitation. Hesitation disguised as patience. Hesitation fueled by fear. Think about it. How often do you find yourself saying, "I'll do it tomorrow"? Tomorrow turns into next week, then next month, and suddenly years have passed without progress. This isn't laziness, it's biology. Your brain is wired to avoid discomfort because it mistakes uncertainty for danger. When you think about making a big decision or stepping out of your routine, your mind floods with resistance. What if I fail? What if people judge me? What if I'm not ready? These thoughts aren't warnings. They're tricks. Tricks designed to keep you safe, but ultimately leave you unfulfilled. The key to breaking free lies in understanding this mechanism and learning how to override it. Here's where things get interesting. Science shows us that our brains are incredibly adaptable. Just like muscles grow stronger with exercise, your mind can be trained to embrace challenges instead of fearing them. Every time you push past doubt and take action, you strengthen neural pathways that make courage easier over time. It's called neuroplasticity. the brain's ability to rewire itself based on repeated behavior. So every small win matters. Each decision to act, no matter how insignificant it may seem, builds momentum toward lasting transformation. But here's the catch. You have to start somewhere. You can't wait until you feel brave enough. You have to become brave through action. Now, let's talk about what happens when you finally decide to move forward. At first, it feels uncomfortable, maybe even terrifying. But there's beauty in that discomfort. It means you're growing. Growth rarely feels safe, but it always feels worth it. Imagine standing at the edge of a diving board, heart racing, palms sweating. The water below looks impossibly far away, but once you jump, freedom, clarity, a rush of energy unlike anything else. Life works the same way. Every leap into the unknown brings you closer to discovering who you truly are and what you're capable of achieving. And the best part, once you've taken that first step, the second becomes easier, then the third. Before you know it, you're running full speed toward your dreams. But how do you silence the voice inside your head that insists you're not ready? How do you quiet the noise long enough to take action? The answer lies in disrupting the pattern of overthinking. Overthinking keeps you frozen, replaying worst-case scenarios until they feel inevitable. It convinces you that staying put is safer than risking failure. But here's the truth. Staying put guarantees failure. Staying put ensures you'll never experience the joy of growth, the thrill of accomplishment, or the pride of knowing you faced your fears head-on. To break free, you need a tool, a simple yet powerful method to interrupt those destructive thought patterns and propel yourself into motion. And that's exactly what we're building up to. We're peeling back the layers of hesitation, fear, and self-doubt to reveal the raw power within you. Because deep down, you already possess everything you need to create the life you desire. You just need to learn how to harness it. Remember, transformation isn't about becoming someone new. It's about unleashing the person you were always meant to be. And trust me, once you unlock this potential, there's no turning back. So keep going. Stay with me. By the end of this journey, you'll walk away armed with a strategy so effective that it could redefine how you approach every challenge in your life. Keep listening closely. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. Let's talk about decisions, those pivotal moments that shape the course of our lives. Every day you're faced with choices, big and small. Some seem insignificant, like what to eat for breakfast or which route to take to work. Others feel monumental, like whether to leave a job, start a business, or pursue a dream that scares you. But here's the thing, even the smallest decision carries weight because it sets a precedent. It tells your brain, I am in control, or conversely, I am letting life happen to me. The difference between those two mindsets is everything. When you make a choice, any choice, you reclaim your power. You remind yourself that you are not a victim of circumstance, you are the architect of your reality. Now let's be honest. Making decisions isn't easy. In fact, it can feel downright paralyzing. Why? Because every decision comes with uncertainty. What if you choose wrong? What if things don't work out? These questions swirl around in your mind, creating doubt and hesitation, but here's the liberating truth. There's no such thing as a perfect decision. Perfection is an illusion, a trap designed to keep you stuck. Real growth happens when you embrace imperfection and move forward anyway. Think of it this way. A ship docked safely in the harbor may avoid storms, but it was never meant to stay there. Its purpose is to sail, to explore, to discover new horizons. Your purpose is the same. Life calls on you to venture beyond the safety of the shore, even if the waters ahead are uncharted. What makes decisions so powerful isn't just the outcome, it's the act itself. Deciding is an affirmation of your ability to influence your world. It shifts your energy from passive to active, from waiting to doing, and that shift changes everything. Studies show that people who actively make decisions, even small ones, experience higher levels of confidence and satisfaction. Why? Because each decision reinforces your belief in your own capability. It's like flexing a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Over time, decision-making becomes less daunting and more empowering. You begin to see yourself not as someone at the mercy of fate, but as someone shaping it. But here's where most people trip up. They wait for clarity before taking action. They think, if I just gather more information, if I just wait for the right moment, then I'll know what to do. Sound familiar? The problem with this approach is that clarity rarely arrives before action. Clarity comes through action. Think about it. Have you ever started something unsure, only to find that the path became clearer as you moved forward? That's how life works. Action creates momentum, and momentum reveals direction. So instead of waiting for certainty, focus on what you can control. The next step. One decision leads to another, and soon you're building a chain reaction of progress. Of course, deciding doesn't mean you won't face challenges, far from it. Challenges are inevitable, they're part of the journey. But here's the beauty of making a decision. It gives you a sense of agency. Even when obstacles arise, you know you're moving towards something meaningful. You're no longer drifting aimlessly, you're steering your ship with intention. And that alone changes how you perceive difficulties. Instead of seeing them as roadblocks, you start viewing them as opportunities to grow, adapt, and prove your resilience. Every challenge becomes a chance to demonstrate your strength. Here's another perspective to consider. Indecision is exhausting. Constantly weighing options, second-guessing yourself, and fearing mistakes drains your mental and emotional energy. It leaves you feeling overwhelmed and stuck. On the other hand, making a decision, even if it's imperfect, frees up space in your mind. It allows you to focus on execution rather than endless deliberation. This clarity of purpose is energizing. It propels you forward, giving you the motivation to tackle whatever comes your way. After all, it's hard to feel inspired when you're bogged down by analysis paralysis. So how do you cultivate the habit of decisive action? Start by reframing how you view decisions. Stop seeing them as tests with pass or fail outcomes. Instead, see them as experiments. Each choice is a learning opportunity, a chance to gather data about what works and what doesn't. If something doesn't go as planned, celebrate the lesson and adjust your course. This mindset takes the pressure off and makes decision-making less intimidating. Remember, success isn't about avoiding failure, it's about embracing the process of growth. And here's the most important takeaway. You don't need permission to decide. You don't need validation from others or guarantees of success. All you need is the willingness to trust yourself. Trust that you have the wisdom to navigate uncertainty. Trust that you'll figure things out along the way. Trust that every step, no matter how small, brings you closer to the life you envision. Because ultimately, freedom isn't found in perfection, it's found in progress. And progress begins with one bold, intentional decision. Stay with me because we're about to dive deeper into a tool that will help you turn these principles into action. A tool so simple, yet transformative that it could redefine how you approach every challenge in your life. Keep listening. You're closer than ever to unlocking your potential. Let's talk about fear, the invisible force that whispers lies in your ear and tries to keep you small. Fear tells you that you're not ready, that you're not good enough, that the risks outweigh the rewards. It paints vivid pictures of failure and rejection, convincing you to stay exactly where you are. But here's the truth, fear isn't your enemy. In fact, it's one of the most powerful indicators that you're on the right path. Think about it. Have you ever felt fear before doing something truly meaningful? Whether it's starting a new chapter, pursuing a passion, or stepping outside your comfort zone, fear shows up because growth requires courage. And courage doesn't mean being fearless. It means moving forward despite the fear. Fear is a natural response to uncertainty. Your brain is wired to prioritize survival. So anything unfamiliar triggers a warning signal. This was useful for our ancestors who needed to avoid predators, but in today's world, it often holds us back from opportunities. The key is understanding that fear isn't a stop sign, it's a checkpoint. It's there to test your resolve, to ask, are you serious about this? When you acknowledge fear instead of running from it, you take away its power. You remind yourself that it's just a feeling, not a verdict. And feelings can be managed. They don't define you unless you let them. Here's the paradox. The more you try to avoid fear, the stronger it becomes. Avoidance feeds fear, giving it room to grow until it feels insurmountable. On the other hand, confronting fear shrinks it. Every time you face what scares you, you prove to yourself that you're capable of handling whatever comes your way. Over time, those fears lose their grip on you. What once seemed impossible starts to feel achievable. That's the beauty of leaning into discomfort. It transforms you. It builds resilience, confidence, and an unshakable belief in your ability to overcome. But how do you push past fear when it feels paralyzing? Start by reframing it. Instead of seeing fear as a threat, see it as proof that you're growing. Ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen if I move forward? Often the answer isn't as catastrophic as your mind makes it seem. Then ask, what's the best that could happen? This simple exercise shifts your focus from limitation to possibility. It reminds you why taking action is worth it even if the road ahead is uncertain. Remember, fear thrives in silence. The moment you bring it into the light, it begins to lose its hold on you. Another powerful way to combat fear is to embrace imperfection. Perfectionism is one of fear's greatest allies. It convinces you to wait until everything is just right before taking action, but that day never comes. Life is messy, unpredictable, and beautifully imperfect. Waiting for perfection only delays your progress and robs you of the joy of learning along the way. Instead, give yourself permission to stumble, to make mistakes, to figure things out as you go. Progress is always better than stagnation, no matter how imperfect it may look. After all, every masterpiece started as a rough draft. Now let's address another common misconception. Fear doesn't disappear after success. Even the most accomplished people experience fear. They've simply learned to coexist with it. They understand that fear is part of the process, not a barrier to entry. The difference is that they don't let fear dictate their actions. They feel it, acknowledge it, and then take the next step anyway. This mindset is a game changer. It separates those who dream from those who achieve. It empowers you to act, even when you don't feel ready, knowing that readiness is often a myth we create to justify inaction. And here's the beautiful irony. The more you confront fear, the less intimidating it becomes. Each victory, no matter how small, builds evidence that you can handle whatever life throws at you. You begin to trust yourself more deeply, recognizing that fear is just a temporary state, not a permanent condition. This self-trust becomes your foundation, allowing you to tackle bigger challenges with greater ease. Over time, you realize that fear isn't something to eliminate. It's something to harness. It's fuel for your journey, pushing you to reach heights you never thought possible. So, what's holding you back right now? Is it fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of the unknown? Whatever it is, know this. You are stronger than your fears. You have within you the power to rise above them, to take bold steps toward the life you desire. All it takes is the willingness to move forward, one imperfect step at a time, because freedom isn't found in avoiding fear, it's found in facing it head on. Now let's talk about momentum, the invisible force that propels you forward when you least expect it. Momentum is like a spark that grows into a flame. At first it might feel small, insignificant even, but with consistent effort it becomes unstoppable. Think about the last time you started something new, a project, a habit, or a goal. In the beginning, progress felt slow, maybe even frustrating, but as you kept going, something shifted. You gained clarity, energy, and confidence. That's momentum at work. It's not magic, it's science. Every action you take creates a ripple effect, building on the one before it until suddenly you're moving faster than you ever thought possible. The problem most people face isn't a lack of ideas or ambition, it's a lack of follow-through. They start strong, full of excitement and hope, but then life gets in the way. Distractions pile up, doubts creep in, and soon they've lost their drive. Sound familiar? Here's the truth. Momentum doesn't happen by accident. It requires discipline, patience, and a commitment to showing up, even when you don't feel like it. The good news? Once you understand how momentum works, you can harness its power to achieve incredible things. And it all starts with taking one step, one tiny, imperfect step toward your goal. Here's why momentum matters so much. Humans are wired to respond to progress. When you see results, no matter how small, your brain releases dopamine, the feel-good chemical. This surge of positivity motivates you to keep going, creating a cycle of action and reward. But here's the catch. You have to prime the pump first. You have to take that initial step, even if it feels insignificant. Washing one dish leads to cleaning the entire kitchen. Writing one sentence leads to finishing a page. Taking one workout class leads to building a fitness routine. Small wins compound over time, creating massive transformations. Momentum thrives on consistency, not perfection. But how do you stay consistent when motivation wanes? Because let's be honest, motivation is fleeting. Some days you'll wake up fired up and ready to conquer the world. Other days you'll struggle to get out of bed. That's normal. Relying solely on motivation is like trying to fuel a car with an empty tank. It won't get you far. Instead, focus on discipline. Discipline is the engine that keeps you moving when motivation runs dry. It's the decision to show up, even when you don't feel inspired. And the beautiful thing about discipline is that it builds its own momentum. The more you practice it, the easier it becomes. Let's break this down further. Imagine momentum as a snowball rolling down a hill. At first, it's just a small clump of snow, barely noticeable, but as it rolls, it picks up speed and size, gaining power with every rotation. Your actions are the same way. Each choice you make adds weight and velocity to your journey. Skipping one workout might not seem like a big deal, but skipping 10? That's a missed opportunity to build momentum. On the flip side, completing 10 workouts, even if they're short or imperfect, creates a sense of accomplishment that fuels future efforts. Momentum rewards persistence, not perfection. Another key to sustaining momentum is celebrating small victories along the way. Too often we dismiss our progress because we're focused on the end goal. We tell ourselves, I'll be happy when I reach X. But happiness isn't a destination. It's a mindset. By acknowledging and appreciating each step forward, you reinforce positive behavior and boost your motivation to keep going. Did you write for 10 minutes today? Celebrate it. Did you take a single step toward a dream that scares you? Celebrate it. These moments may seem minor, but they're the building blocks of success. Gratitude amplifies momentum, turning effort into joy. Now, here's where many people go wrong. They try to do too much, too fast. They set lofty goals, expecting immediate results, and then burn out when reality doesn't match their expectations. The secret to lasting momentum is starting small. Focus on what you can sustain, not what looks impressive. A daily 5-minute meditation practice is better than a sporadic hour-long session. Walking 1,000 steps a day is better than attempting 1,000, and giving up after a week. Progress doesn't have to be dramatic to be effective. What matters is that you're moving forward, consistently and intentionally. And here's the most empowering part. Momentum isn't reserved for extraordinary people. It's available to anyone willing to put in the work. You don't need special talent, resources, or connections. All you need is the courage to start and the determination to keep going. Every action you take plants a seed. Over time, those seeds grow into something remarkable. Whether it's a healthier lifestyle, a thriving career, or a deeper sense of purpose, momentum turns dreams into reality. It bridges the gap between where you are and where you want to be. So, what's your next step? What's one thing you can do today to create momentum in your life? Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to happen. Because once you get the ball rolling, there's no telling how far it will take you. Stay with me, because we're about to reveal a tool that will help you ignite this process. A tool so simple yet transformative that it could redefine how you approach every challenge in your life. Keep listening. You're closer than ever to unlocking your potential. Let's talk about ownership. The cornerstone of true freedom and transformation. Ownership isn't just about taking responsibility for your actions. It's about claiming authority over your life. It's recognizing that you are the architect of your reality, the captain of your ship, and the writer of your story. No one else is coming to save you, and waiting for external validation or rescue only prolongs your struggle. The moment you decide to own your choices, your mindset, and your future is the moment you step into your power. And let me tell you, there's nothing more liberating than realizing that everything begins and ends with you. Think about the areas of your life where you feel stuck. Maybe it's your career, your relationships, or your personal growth. Now ask yourself, how much of that stagnation stems from blaming others or circumstances? Blame might feel comforting in the short term. It shifts the burden away from you, but it also robs you of agency. When you blame, you surrender control. You place your happiness, success, and peace in someone else's hands, leaving yourself powerless to change anything. Ownership flips that script. It says, "This is my life, and I am responsible for creating the change I want to see." That shift in perspective is profound because it puts the reins firmly back in your grasp. Here's the hard truth. Life doesn't owe you anything. Opportunities won't magically appear, and challenges won't disappear on their own. But here's the empowering part. You have the ability to shape your circumstances through your attitude and actions. Every setback is an invitation to grow. Every obstacle is a chance to prove your resilience. When you take ownership, you stop seeing problems as roadblocks and start viewing them as stepping stones. You begin to understand that adversity isn't something to avoid, it's something to embrace. Because every challenge you overcome makes you stronger, wiser, and more capable of handling whatever comes next. But ownership isn't always easy. It requires honesty, brutal, unflinching honesty with yourself. It means admitting when you've made mistakes, acknowledging your role in creating your current situation, and committing to doing better moving forward. This level of self-awareness can be uncomfortable, even painful at times, but it's also incredibly freeing. Why? Because once you own your flaws, they lose their power over you. You no longer waste energy hiding or denying them. Instead, you channel that energy into improvement. Growth becomes your focus, not guilt. Now, let's talk about accountability, a close cousin of ownership. Accountability means holding yourself to a higher standard, even when no one else is watching. It's showing up for yourself day after day, regardless of external rewards or recognition. Too often, we rely on others to motivate us or hold us accountable, but real progress happens when you become your own biggest advocate. When you set goals, track your progress, and push through resistance without needing applause from anyone else, you tap into a wellspring of inner strength. That's where true transformation begins. Here's another powerful aspect of ownership. It allows you to rewrite your narrative. We all carry stories about who we are and what we're capable of achieving. Some of these stories are empowering, while others are limiting. The beauty of taking ownership is that you get to decide which stories define you. If you've been telling yourself, "I'm not good enough," or "I'll never succeed," it's time to challenge those beliefs. Replace them with new narratives rooted in possibility. "I am learning and growing every day," or "I have the power to create the life I want." These affirmations may feel unfamiliar at first, but repetition breeds belief. Over time, they reshape your identity and unlock potential you didn't know you had. And here's the most transformative part of ownership. It eliminates excuses. Excuses are like anchors. They weigh you down and keep you tethered to mediocrity. When you take full responsibility for your life, there's no room for excuses. Instead, you focus on solutions. You ask, "What can I do differently?" rather than "Why is this happening to me?" This proactive mindset not only accelerates your growth, but also inspires those around you. People notice when you embody accountability. It commands respect and admiration. It sets a standard that elevates everyone it touches. So, what does ownership look like in practice? It starts with small, deliberate actions. Own your mornings by waking up with intention. Own your words by speaking with kindness and authenticity. Own your dreams by taking consistent steps toward them, no matter how daunting they seem. Each act of ownership reinforces your belief in your ability to lead your life with purpose. And as you build this habit, something incredible happens. You stop feeling like a passenger in your journey. You realize you're the driver, navigating twists and turns with confidence and clarity. Let's talk about self-doubt, the silent thief that robs you of your confidence and potential. It creeps in when you least expect it, whispering lies like, "You're not smart enough," "You'll never be good at this," or "Who do you think you are?" These thoughts feel so real, so convincing that they can stop you dead in your tracks. But here's the truth. Self-doubt isn't a reflection of your abilities, it's a test of your courage. It's there to challenge you, to push you, to prove yourself wrong. And the moment you realize that self-doubt is just noise, not fact, is the moment you begin to rise above it. Self-doubt thrives in isolation. When you keep your fears and insecurities locked inside, they grow louder, feeding off your silence. But here's the empowering part. doubt loses its power the moment you bring it into the light. Talking about your struggles, whether with a trusted friend, mentor, or even yourself, forces you to confront them head on. It strips away their mystery and reveals them for what they truly are: irrational fears masquerading as truth. Once you expose self-doubt, it becomes easier to dismiss. You remind yourself that these thoughts don't define you. They're just passing clouds in the sky of your mind. Now, let's address another common misconception. Self-doubt doesn't disappear after success. Even the most accomplished people experience moments of uncertainty. The difference is that they don't let doubt dictate their actions. They acknowledge it, but they don't dwell on it. Instead, they focus on evidence, the proof of their past achievements, no matter how small. Think about it. Every time you've overcome a challenge, every goal you've achieved, every risk you've taken has built a reservoir of evidence that you're capable of more than you think. Doubt may knock on your door, but you don't have to invite it in. You can choose to focus on what you've already proven rather than what you fear you lack. Here's another powerful way to combat self-doubt. Reframe it as curiosity. Instead of viewing doubt as a sign of weakness, see it as an opportunity to learn. Ask yourself, what skills can I develop to feel more confident? Or what steps can I take to prepare better? This shift in perspective transforms doubt from a roadblock into a stepping stone. It turns fear into fuel, propelling you toward growth instead of holding you back. Remember, confidence isn't something you're born with, it's something you build through action. Every step you take, no matter how uncertain, adds bricks to the foundation of your self-belief. But here's the real game changer. Self-doubt often stems from comparing yourself to others. Social media, societal expectations, and even well-meaning advice can create unrealistic standards that leave you feeling inadequate. The truth is, everyone is on their own unique journey. What looks like overnight success is usually years of hard work behind the scenes. What appears effortless is often the result of countless hours of practice and perseverance. When you stop measuring yourself against others and start focusing on your own progress, self-doubt begins to fade. You realize that your only competition is the person you were yesterday, and that's a race you can always win. Another key to overcoming self-doubt is embracing imperfection. Perfectionism is one of doubt's greatest allies. It convinces you to wait until everything is flawless before taking action. But perfection is a myth. Life is messy, unpredictable, and beautifully imperfect. Waiting for perfection only delays your progress and robs you of the joy of learning along the way. Instead, give yourself permission to stumble, to make mistakes, to figure things out as you go. Progress is always better than stagnation, no matter how messy it may look. After all, every masterpiece started as a rough draft. And here's the most liberating truth. Self-doubt is proof that you're growing. If you never doubted yourself, it would mean you weren't pushing beyond your limits. Growth happens outside your comfort zone, and discomfort often brings doubt along for the ride. The key is to normalize it, to see doubt not as a sign of failure, but as a sign of expansion. When you embrace this mindset, doubt becomes a companion on your journey, not an obstacle. It reminds you that you're stepping into uncharted territory where the rewards far outweigh the risks. So, what's your relationship with self-doubt? Is it holding you back, or are you using it as fuel to move forward? The choice is yours. Because here's the thing. You are stronger than your doubt. You have within you the resilience, creativity, and determination to achieve whatever you set your mind to. All it takes is the willingness to act, even when you don't feel ready. Because readiness is often a myth we create to justify inaction. Real confidence comes from doing, not waiting. Let's talk about the power of visualization. A tool so simple yet profound that it has the ability to reshape your reality. Visualization isn't just daydreaming or wishful thinking. It's a deliberate practice rooted in science and psychology. When you vividly imagine yourself achieving your goals, your brain begins to treat those images as real experiences. It activates the same neural pathways that fire when you actually take action, priming your mind and body for success. In other words, visualization is like rehearsing for the life you want to create. And the more clarity and emotion you bring to this process, the more powerful it becomes. Think about athletes who visualize their performance before a big game. They close their eyes and mentally walk through every step, every movement, every breath, as if they're already on the field or court. Studies show that this mental rehearsal improves their physical performance because their brains are essentially practicing success. This same principle applies to your life. Whether you're working toward a promotion, building healthier habits, or pursuing a passion project, visualization can accelerate your progress by aligning your thoughts, emotions, and actions with your desired outcome. It's not magic, it's mindset. Now, here's the key to effective visualization. It's not enough to simply think about what you want. You need to immerse yourself in the experience. Picture every detail, the sights, sounds, and feelings of achieving your goal. If you're dreaming of starting a business, imagine walking into your office, hearing the hum of productivity, and feeling the pride of knowing you built something from scratch. If you're aiming for better health, visualize yourself full of energy, moving with ease, and radiating confidence. The more vividly you can imagine these scenarios, the more real they feel, and the more motivated you become to turn them into reality. But here's where many people go wrong. They focus only on the end result, forgetting the journey that leads there. Visualization isn't just about seeing the finish line, it's about mapping out the steps to get there. As you picture your success, also imagine the challenges you'll face along the way. See yourself overcoming obstacles, staying resilient, and learning from setbacks. This dual approach, celebrating the destination while preparing for the road ahead, creates a balanced mindset. It reminds you that growth requires effort, but the effort is worth it. When you visualize both the highs and lows, you build mental resilience that prepares you for whatever comes your way. Another powerful aspect of visualization is its ability to shift your emotional state. Emotions drive action or inaction. When you're stuck in doubt, fear, or frustration, it's hard to make progress. But when you tap into positive emotions like excitement, gratitude, and determination, you unlock a wellspring of motivation. Visualization helps you access these emotions by allowing you to pre-live your success. Every time you imagine yourself achieving your goals, you reinforce the belief that they're possible. This emotional boost gives you the energy and confidence to take bold steps forward, even when the path feels uncertain. Here's another layer to consider. Visualization isn't just about personal gain, it's about purpose. When you connect your goals to a deeper sense of meaning, they become magnetic. Ask yourself, why does this goal matter? How will achieving it impact not just you, but others around you? Maybe it's about creating a better future for your family, contributing to your community, or leaving a legacy that inspires others. When you infuse your visualizations with purpose, they carry more weight. They remind you that your efforts aren't just for yourself, they're part of something bigger, and that sense of purpose fuels perseverance. Now let's address a common misconception. Visualization alone won't get you results. It's not a substitute for action. It's a catalyst for it. The true power of visualization lies in its ability to inspire and guide your efforts. It clarifies your vision, sharpens your focus, and keeps you aligned with your priorities. But at the end of the day, you still have to show up. You still have to put in the work. Visualization bridges the gap between where you are and where you want to be, but you're the one who has to cross it. The beauty is that when you combine visualization with consistent action, the results can be extraordinary. And here's the most empowering part. Visualization is accessible to everyone. You don't need special tools, resources, or talents to practice it. All you need is a few minutes of quiet time and the willingness to dream boldly. Start small. Spend 5 minutes each day imagining your ideal life. Feel the joy of accomplishment, the relief of overcoming challenges, and the pride of staying committed to your vision. Over time, these moments of mental rehearsal will shape your reality. They'll train your brain to recognize opportunities, stay solution-focused, and maintain unwavering belief in your potential. So what do you want to create? What does success look like for you, not just in terms of outcomes, but in terms of how it makes you feel? Take a moment to close your eyes and picture it. Let the image fill your mind with color, sound, and emotion. Because here's the truth. What you consistently focus on expands. Your thoughts shape your reality, and your reality shapes your life. By visualizing your dreams with clarity and conviction, you set the stage for them to come true. Let's talk about failure. The word that strikes fear into the hearts of so many, yet holds within it the seeds of greatness. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's a vital part of it. Every setback you face is not a reflection of your worth or potential. It's feedback. It's life's way of teaching you what doesn't work so you can discover what does. The most successful people in history didn't avoid failure. They embraced it. They saw it as a stepping stone, a lesson disguised as a challenge, and when you begin to view failure through this lens, it transforms from something to fear into something to welcome. Think about it. Failure is proof that you're trying. If you've never failed, it means you've never pushed beyond your limits. You've stayed safely within the confines of what's comfortable and predictable. But growth doesn't happen there. Growth happens when you take risks, when you stretch yourself, when you dare to dream bigger than you've ever dreamed before. Failure is the price of admission to a life of purpose and progress. It's the toll you pay on the road to greatness. And while it may feel painful in the moment, it's always temporary. What lasts are the lessons you learn and the resilience you build along the way. Now, here's the key to reframing failure. Stop seeing it as an endpoint. Instead, see it as a pivot point, a chance to recalibrate and move forward with greater wisdom. Every mistake contains valuable information if you're willing to look for it. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? How can I use this to improve? These questions shift your focus from blame to growth, from regret to possibility. When you approach failure with curiosity instead of judgment, it becomes less intimidating. It becomes a teacher, guiding you toward better decisions and stronger outcomes. But here's where many people get stuck. They let failure define them. They internalize it, believing it says something permanent about their abilities or character. The truth is, failure doesn't define you. Your response to it does. Do you give up at the first sign of difficulty, or do you rise stronger? Do you let setbacks paralyze you, or do you use them as fuel to keep going? The choice is yours, and here's the empowering part. Every time you choose to persevere, you prove to yourself that you're capable of more than you thought. You rewrite the story of who you are, replacing doubt with determination and fear with courage. Another powerful aspect of failure is its ability to humble you. Success can sometimes inflate egos, making people believe they've arrived and no longer need to grow. Failure reminds you that there's always room for improvement, always another level to reach. It keeps you grounded, hungry, and open to learning. Some of the greatest breakthroughs in history came after repeated failures because those who persisted refused to settle for anything less than extraordinary. They understood that failure wasn't the end, it was the beginning of innovation. Here's another perspective to consider. Failure strips away what isn't essential. When things don't go as planned, it forces you to reevaluate your priorities, your strategies, and even your motivation. It helps you clarify what truly matters and what you're willing to fight for. In this way, failure acts as a filter, separating distractions from purpose. It ensures that your energy is directed toward what aligns with your vision and values. And when you operate from this place of clarity, success becomes inevitable. Not because you avoided failure, but because you embraced it. Now let's talk about resilience, the muscle that gets stronger every time you face failure. Resilience isn't something you're born with. It's something you develop through experience. Each time you pick yourself up after a fall, you build confidence in your ability to handle adversity. You realize that failure doesn't break you, it makes you. It teaches you patience, persistence, and the importance of staying committed to your goals. Over time, these qualities become second nature, allowing you to navigate challenges with grace and grit. Resilience turns obstacles into opportunities, transforming pain into power. And here's the most liberating truth. Failure is universal. No one escapes it, not even those who seem to have it all figured out. The difference lies in how they respond. They don't dwell on their mistakes, they extract the lessons and move on. They don't see failure as a reflection of their identity, they see it as part of the process. This mindset frees them from the paralysis of perfectionism and empowers them to take bold action. Because here's the reality, perfection is unattainable, but progress is always possible. And progress is built on a foundation of trial, error, and relentless effort. So how will you respond the next time you face failure? Will you let it stop you, or will you use it to propel you forward? The answer lies in your perspective. Because here's the truth. Failure isn't fatal, it's feedback. It's a detour, not a dead end. Every misstep brings you closer to mastery. Every stumble strengthens your resolve, and every disappointment deepens your determination. You are stronger than any setback, wiser than any mistake, and braver than any challenge. All it takes is the willingness to keep going, one step at a time. Let's talk about consistency, the quiet, unglamorous force that turns effort into achievement. Consistency isn't flashy or exciting, but it's the backbone of every success story you admire. It's the daily grind, the small actions repeated over time that create momentum and lead to extraordinary results. Think about it. No one climbs a mountain in a single leap. They take step after step, often on terrain that feels monotonous or grueling. But each step matters because it brings them closer to the summit. Consistency is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Now here's the truth. Motivation is fleeting. Some days you wake up with fire in your belly, ready to tackle the world. Other days you feel like you're dragging yourself through quicksand. That's normal. What separates those who succeed from those who don't isn't how they feel, it's what they do anyway. Consistency doesn't wait for inspiration it shows up even when you don't feel like it, trusting that progress compounds over time. The magic happens not in grand gestures, but in the accumulation of small, deliberate actions. One page written today becomes a book next year. One workout completed today becomes a transformed body over months. Consistency proves that tiny efforts done repeatedly yield massive rewards. But here's where many people stumble. They confuse consistency with perfection. They think they need to execute flawlessly every single day. And when they miss a day or make a mistake, they throw in the towel. Here's the liberating truth. Consistency isn't about being perfect. It's about being persistent. It's okay to have off days. What matters is that you return to the process again and again, refusing to let setbacks derail you. Progress is messy and growth is nonlinear. The key is to focus on the overall trend, not the individual data points. Are you moving forward more often than not? Then you're winning. Another powerful aspect of consistency is its ability to build trust with yourself and others. When you consistently show up, you prove that you can rely on yourself. You silence the inner critic that whispers, "You'll never follow through." Over time, this self-trust becomes unshakable. It gives you the confidence to dream bigger, knowing you have the discipline to back it up. And when others see your commitment, they're inspired to support you, collaborate with you, or simply believe in you. Consistency creates credibility, and credibility opens doors. Here's another layer to consider. Consistency simplifies decision-making. When you commit to a routine or a set of principles, you eliminate the mental clutter of constantly questioning what to do next. Instead of debating whether to take action, you simply act because it's part of your plan. This clarity saves energy and reduces overwhelm, allowing you to focus on execution rather than deliberation. Think of it like brushing your teeth. You don't debate whether to do it, you just do it because it's part of your daily practice. Apply that same mindset to your goals and watch how much easier it becomes to stay on track. Now, let's address a common misconception. Consistency doesn't mean doing the same thing forever. It means staying aligned with your purpose while adapting as needed. Life is unpredictable and circumstances change. The key is to remain flexible without losing sight of your long-term vision. If one approach isn't working, adjust it, but keep moving forward. Consistency is about resilience, not rigidity. It's about finding creative ways to honor your commitments, even when the path looks different than you expected. And here's the most empowering part. Consistency builds evidence of possibility. Every time you stick to your plan, you reinforce the belief that you're capable of achieving your goals. Doubt fades because you've proven to yourself over and over that you can do hard things. You start to see patterns of success emerge, and those patterns fuel your motivation. Before long, you're no longer relying on willpower alone. Your habits carry you forward. Discipline becomes automatic, and effort feels lighter because you've trained yourself to embrace the process. So what does consistency look like for you? Is it waking up 15 minutes earlier to work on your passion project? Is it dedicating 10 minutes a day to learning something new? Is it showing kindness to someone even when life feels chaotic? Whatever it is, remember this: consistency isn't about size, it's about sincerity. Small actions done consistently create ripples that grow into waves. They shape your character, define your trajectory, and ultimately determine your legacy. Let's talk about community, the invisible force that shapes who you are and who you can become. The people you surround yourself with aren't just part of your environment, they're part of your identity. They influence your thoughts, your habits, and even your dreams. Think about it. Have you ever noticed how spending time with motivated, positive individuals makes you feel inspired and capable? On the flip side, being around negative or unmotivated people can drain your energy and dim your vision. Your circle isn't just a reflection of where you are, it's a roadmap to where you're headed. And if you want to break free and take control of your life, you need to choose your circle wisely. Now, here's the truth. Humans are wired for connection. We crave belonging, support, and shared experiences. But not all connections are created equal. Some lift you higher, while others pull you down. Toxic relationships, whether with friends, family, or colleagues, can keep you stuck in patterns of self-doubt, fear, or complacency. They might discourage your dreams, criticize your efforts, or subtly sabotage your progress. These influences aren't always obvious, but their impact is profound. They plant seeds of doubt in your mind, whispering, "You're not good enough," or "Why bother trying?" If you're serious about growth, you must recognize these toxic ties and create distance from them. Not out of anger, but out of love for yourself and your future. But let's be clear, cutting ties with negativity doesn't mean isolating yourself. In fact, the opposite is true. Surrounding yourself with uplifting, like-minded individuals is one of the most powerful decisions you can make. When you're part of a supportive community, you gain access to encouragement, accountability, and fresh perspectives. You find people who believe in you, even when you struggle to believe in yourself. They remind you of your potential, celebrate your wins, and help you navigate challenges. A strong community becomes your safety net, catching you when you fall, and your springboard, propelling you toward new heights. Together, you amplify each other's strengths and minimize weaknesses. Here's another powerful aspect of community. It accelerates learning. No matter how smart or skilled you are, there's always someone who knows more, sees further, or has walked the path you're on. Being around such individuals exposes you to ideas and strategies you might never discover on your own. It broadens your horizons and challenges you to think bigger. For example, hearing someone share their story of overcoming adversity can inspire you to tackle your own struggles with renewed determination. Observing someone achieve what once seemed impossible can ignite hope within you. A supportive community transforms "I can't" into "I will." Now, let's address a common misconception. Building a positive community isn't about finding perfect people. It's about finding real ones. Authenticity matters more than perfection. Look for individuals who are committed to growth, even if they're still figuring things out. Seek those who are honest about their struggles and generous with their lessons. These are the people who will truly enrich your life because they understand the value of vulnerability and mutual support. Remember, you don't need a massive network to thrive. A small circle of genuine connections can have a far greater impact than a large group of superficial ones. And here's the most empowering part. You get to decide who stays in your life. This is your journey, and you have the power to curate your environment. Start by evaluating your current relationships. Who uplifts you? Who drains you? Be honest with yourself, and don't be afraid to set boundaries. Distance yourself from those who consistently bring negativity, whether through criticism, gossip, or apathy. At the same time, actively seek out people who align with your values and aspirations. Attend events, join groups, or engage in activities that attract like-minded individuals. Building a supportive community takes effort, but the rewards are immeasurable. So what does your circle look like right now? Are you surrounded by people who challenge you to grow? Or do you find yourself stuck in cycles of negativity? The choice is yours. Because here's the truth. Your environment shapes your mindset, and your mindset shapes your reality. By surrounding yourself with positivity, you create a fertile ground for your dreams to take root and flourish. You give yourself permission to rise, to shine, and to become the best version of yourself. Let's talk about the power of action. the force that turns ideas into reality and dreams into achievements. Action is where the magic happens. It's the bridge between intention and impact, between potential and progress. No matter how brilliant your plans or how vivid your vision, nothing changes until you move. Thinking alone won't build the life you desire. Doing will. And here's the truth. Action isn't just a step forward, it's a declaration. When you act, you're telling the universe, yourself, and everyone around you that you're serious about creating change. You're saying, I'm ready to rise. Now, here's the key to understanding action. It doesn't have to be big to be powerful. In fact, some of the most transformative actions are small and deliberate. Writing one paragraph, making one phone call, or taking one step outside your comfort zone might seem insignificant in the moment, but these tiny efforts ripple outward, creating waves of momentum. Think of action as planting seeds. Each seed may look small and fragile, but with care and consistency, it grows into something strong and enduring. Your job isn't to control how fast the tree grows, it's to keep planting. Every action you take adds to the garden of your future. But here's where many people hesitate. They wait for the perfect moment to act. They tell themselves, I'll start when I feel more confident, or I'll do it when the timing is right. The problem with this mindset is that the perfect moment rarely arrives. Life is unpredictable, messy, and imperfect. And that's exactly why waiting is dangerous. Waiting keeps you stuck in the realm of someday, while action pulls you into the present. The truth is, confidence doesn't precede action, it follows it. Every time you take a step, no matter how uncertain, you prove to yourself that you're capable. That proof builds trust in your abilities, which fuels even more action. It's a cycle of growth, and all it takes to start is one bold move. Here's another layer to consider. Action silences doubt. When you're stuck in overthinking, fear and self-doubt creep in, whispering, what if you fail? Or what if it's not good enough? But the moment you act, those voices lose their power. Why? Because action shifts your focus from worrying about outcomes to engaging with the process. It forces you to concentrate on what you can control rather than what you can't. Instead of obsessing over perfection, you immerse yourself in doing. This shift in mindset is liberating because it frees you from the paralysis of analysis. It reminds you that progress is better than perfection, and movement creates clarity. Now, let's address a common misconception. Action isn't reckless or impulsive. It's strategic and intentional. Taking action doesn't mean rushing blindly into every opportunity. It means choosing wisely where to invest your energy. Before you act, ask yourself, does this align with my goals? Does it move me closer to the life I want? These questions ensure that your actions are purposeful, not random. Purposeful action creates direction, while scattered effort leads to frustration. By staying aligned with your vision, you ensure that every step you take contributes to the bigger picture. And here's the most empowering part. Action teaches resilience. Not every action will yield immediate results, and not every attempt will succeed. But here's the beauty of it. Success isn't the only measure of progress. Every action you take, whether it works or not, teaches you something valuable. It gives you data, insight, and experience that prepare you for the next step. Over time, these lessons accumulate, equipping you with the tools to navigate challenges and seize opportunities. Action transforms setbacks into setups for comebacks, turning failure into feedback. It proves that every effort counts, even if the payoff isn't instant. So, what's holding you back from taking action right now? Is it fear, doubt, overwhelm, whatever it is? Remember this. Action has a way of dissolving obstacles. When you focus on what you can do today, the mountain ahead feels less intimidating. You don't have to climb it all at once. You just have to take the first step, and then the next, and then the one after that. Momentum builds with each movement, carrying you further than you ever thought possible. Action is the antidote to stagnation, the cure for hesitation, and the spark that ignites transformation. Let's talk about the power of urgency, the spark that transforms intention into impact. Urgency isn't about rushing or panicking. It's about recognizing the value of now. Life doesn't wait for anyone, and neither should you. Every moment you delay is a moment you could have used to move closer to your dreams. Think about it. How many times have you told yourself, I'll start tomorrow, only for tomorrow to become next week, next month, or even next year? The truth is, tomorrow isn't guaranteed. The only time you truly have is right now. And when you embrace urgency, you unlock the ability to create change immediately. Now, here's the key to understanding urgency. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. Waiting for the right moment often stems from fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, or fear of not being ready. But here's the liberating truth. There's no such thing as perfect timing. The best time to act was yesterday. The next best time is now. When you commit to taking action today, you break free from the chains of procrastination. You stop giving power to excuses and start giving energy to execution. Urgency reminds you that life rewards those who move, not those who wait. But here's where many people get stuck. They confuse urgency with stress. They think acting with urgency means working themselves into exhaustion or sacrificing their well-being. That's not what urgency is about. True urgency comes from a place of purpose. It's about aligning your actions with your priorities and making every moment count. It's about asking yourself, what can I do right now to move closer to my goals? This mindset shifts your focus from overwhelm to opportunity. Instead of feeling burdened by the weight of everything you need to do, you feel empowered by the possibilities of what you can achieve. Here's another powerful aspect of urgency. It amplifies focus. When you embrace the idea that time is precious, you naturally eliminate distractions. You stop wasting hours on things that don't matter and start investing in what does.